how you doing? I haven't talked to you in forever.
Alright, g'day ladies and gentlemen, legends of the highest regard. What the hell just happened to my sim? You guys are about to see some amazing magic in 2 seconds on your end. Confuse the hell out of you. There you go. I didn't touch a damn thing. Anyway, how's everyone going? Welcome back to stream number 2 for the day. We're all of a sudden at 3:22 AM, which is not even the real time, or the time that I loaded in at. Cool. That was random. Sure, let's go with 9:08 AM. Hope everyone's going absolutely fantastic. As I said, welcome back to the second stream of the day. So we're finally going to be able to get leg 4 here of the East to West Australia journey done. This is, I think, the 4th time that we've attempted to do this stream, and the previous 3 times it was affected by technological related issues. Internet connection, YouTube Studio, then the issue with Streamlabs OBS, and then there was another one as well. I can't quite remember, but yeah. So 4th time lucky, which is not even a saying, but it's one that we're going to have to start developing potentially for this series. I hope not. But I don't really want to be postponing streams 4 times in a row. So, some of you who have been on the East to West Australia journey with us from the start will actually remember that the first flight was completed in a Cessna 170 backcountry. That was a freeware one from flightsim.to. It was okay. It was okay. The reason I didn't keep flying it is because it wasn't the most stable thing sometimes. So I figured it was better to just use the X-Cub. But now I have the Coronado 170 backcountry. So now we can go back to flying the plane that was originally intended for this journey. So yeah, that's welcome to the, when was it? I don't even remember when the 170 was built, but it was a fair while ago, judging by the fact that the interior looks like a 1950s Cadillac, which I may point out as well, it's not a bad thing. Not a bad thing at all. Just an observation. And the fact that there's no autopilot, everything, it's very basic steam gauges for everything, and then you can see quite clearly they have retrofitted a little GPS digital thing into the dash as time has gone on, kind of thing. 1940s, says Glenn. Oh, geez. This looks bloody good for the 40s. Like, a lot of, you could almost say that Cadillac stole some of Cessna's interior design language, I think is the right way of putting it. If they didn't, there must have been, cars around the similar time that this aircraft was built that inspired the 50s Cadillac's interiors and all that. But anyway, I'm guessing, well, not guessing. The first thing that we need to do is jump into the chat and see who's come to join us, which is why I'm not guessing, because I can see clearly who's come to join us.
You know what Daddy likes.
Oh, God. Well, Zach's definitely here. If it's Daddy or D's nuts, you can guarantee that Mr. Gaming Lab has made his presence known. We'll start though with Mr. Tootie B, who says, "G'day Peeps and Bryce." Now, quite clearly Tootie has figured out that I'm not a people. I'm something else. KC Plane Spotting is... I'll just leave it at there, Tootie. Won't even say g'day to you or anything, just... you know, but g'day Tootie, hope you're going awesome. KC Plane Spotting says, "Hello." G'day KC Plane Spotting, mate. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're going awesome. Bread Place says, "You can do it, mate." What, flying? I bloody hope so. Been doing it for a little bit now. Swift Fighter says, bonjour Swift Fighter. How you going? I can say bonjour well, but don't expect any other French. Nike, yes. Isn't it Just Do It? Mr. Flying Frog, isn't it Just Do It? Welcome to the stream, Mr. Brett Plays and Mr. Swift Fighter and Mr. Glenn Fitzpatrick and Flying Frog. Because I addressed all of you but forgot to welcome you because, you know, I guess you could say I'm a bit of a see you next Tuesday, but anyway. And Mr. Zach's Gaming Lab is here. G'day, Zach. You, nerd. I don't know. The freeware C170 or the Carinado C170, Glenn? Because if it's the Carinado, I'm, yay, cool. Brings back the correct aircraft and straight away gets a CTD. I'm just hypothetically imagining that... Never mind. Raj says, "Hello bro, namaste. Namaste to you as well, Raj, mate. Welcome to the stream. Hope you've had an awesome time." Mr. Nick Hansen is here as well with his rock-on symbols. What are we rocking on to tonight, Nick? Akadaka, the Foo Fighters, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Green Day. But either way, Nick, mate, I don't know why I'm doing this. That's I'm changing the symbol on you, sorry. Welcome to the stream, mate. Hope you're doing awesome. Right, so, well, what we have here, as you can see, is a bright yellow 170 tail dragger on Tundra tyres. And what we have in the background is a Corsair that is currently dipping its wing into the tarmac, which is, well, it's interesting that the pilots decided that's what they'd like to do, but who am I to judge? It's an old aircraft. He knows what he's doing in that plane, I'm assuming, maybe. Well, maybe he doesn't. Maybe that's part of the problem. Anyway, whoever you are, I hope you're good. If you need a tow, yeah, you're screwed. Okay. I thought I might be able to find something around the airport that would be able to provide assistance, but nope. I've got to remember that we are in Dirranbandi. We are literally in the middle of nowhere. Zach's Gaming Lab says, "Imagine watching this stream without liking it. Cringe." Now, Zach, all you needed to do after that was just, you know, just don't mess with Zach and his sass. I love it, Zach. I love it, mate. Thanks for the support. Alright, I feel like I did that click thing way too well. Which is concerning because that's the first time I've ever done it. Right, good. We can remove the yoke in this aircraft, although it's not, despite the fact that we can remove the yoke to reveal a white, this isn't an egg, it is a plane. Right, so we want to push the mixture in, I think. We most definitely want to turn on the transponder. We don't want to be known as somebody who doesn't turn on their transponder. Shame, Ozflight Simmer. Sorry, just got a slight chest, you know, yeah. Yeah, basically, Nick, I think it's also the colour that they've chosen. I was like, they've given me a bright yellow plane, let's fly that one. See what happens. The interior is lovely. The exterior, I'm not sure I'm going to take the yellow one again. They've got a nice dark blue and a red and a nice black and red one that looks quite menacing. So I'll probably select one of those next time. But I was just, it was like, bright yellow plane, don't tell me twice. Of course I'm going to fly that. It's different. It's weird. It's interesting. Hey, Mitty's here. He says, oh, we started. Apologies for my delay. I was finishing dinner. Don't worry. When I pressed the go live button on YouTube, Mitty, I was also finishing dinner. So you're all good. I get it. I'm just trying to figure out how to start technology from 80 years ago. Or almost 80 years ago. Glenn says he prefers the 140. So it's interesting that you say that, Glenn. When I was in the marketplace about an hour ago when I decided, oh, bugger it, just buy the bloody 170 that you meant to use for this journey from the start. Stop being a cheap. And it was $20. Like, I really needed to stop being cheap and stop trying to use the bloody freeware one or replace it with another aircraft and just get this one and go with it, Right, so I have pushed the mixture in. So that's the starter button that I need to pull. But first, okay, so that's pull that on for the avionics, pull that on for the master or the battery or whatever you want to refer to it as. That is right, so that's my fuel primer, that's my throttle, that's my carburetor heat, that's my cabin heat. Okay, cool, and that's nav lights and landing lights. Cool, that's all. Parking brake is in fact on. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just trying to teach myself exactly what I have to do here. I think it should be as simple now as prime the engine once, possibly twice, possibly even 3 times. I'm not 100% sure. We're going to go with twice because it might be too much, but it's not going to flood the engine. So that's important as well. Yeah, master and battery are the same switch in these things. I realised that when I went to pull on the third switch there and it said nav lights. Oh, okay, right, cool, that's, yes, we don't have the 3, so both magnetos are on. Yep, good, and then it should just be... I mean, that wasn't really difficult, was it? I don't know why I'm doing the Leighton Hewitt. It really wasn't difficult at all. Right, flaps. Where's my... Ah! Whoa. That's pretty sensitive. Okay, right. Good to know. I've just got to make sure that So I do have 1 notch of flaps out. Perfect. I thought I might. Awesome. Trim wheel. Cool. Don't need to... Now, I'm just going to need to zoom in onto this screen. Yeah, so, Glenn, I reckon I'll get myself the 140 next time I'm on the marketplace looking for a bush plane to buy. So I want to see the active flight plan. Right, and then I want to see the map. I was going to say, am I automatically on GPS? Why does it matter? This thing doesn't have autopilot, guys. Autopilot in a GA aircraft in the 40s. I mean, the bloody DC-6 and the Lockheed Connie, they barely had what you could call an autopilot, so that's definitely a pipe dream. What's the max altitude this plane can go? So its service ceiling is 14,000 feet, mainly because if it goes any higher, the pilot will die from asphyxiation and not being able to breathe. So, well, at least breathe properly anyway. Going above 14,000 feet for prolonged periods of time is detrimental to your health because your blood to oxygen rating is so low. MIDI's screaming handbrake flaps. Yeah, it is. Like, we're going back in time here, and I'm loving it so far. Oz Flight Simmer screams, you are back. I am. But I'm not Beethoven. Sorry to disappoint you there, Shane, should I say. Alright, so we have 8 knots, 9 knots of wind. 8 to 9 knots of wind. There we go. And it's direct across the runway. So, right. Basically doesn't matter which end we take off from, based on that. Oh, Zach. Alright, I'm going to taxi this thing from the outside, for 2 reasons. Right. Somebody's performing knife edge flight on the ground. Fair enough. So the reason I was saying I'm going to do it from the outside is because I'm not good at tail draggers. So at least if I fly it from the exterior, I'm not going to make too much of a meal of it. At least I hope not. Alright, now I need to fix my view so that I'm not looking in the opposite direction to where the plane's going, because that just completely cancels out my reasoning that I just came up with. This one's a bit flaky for ground handling. So far it seems okay, Glenn, but I was on dirt. And dirt and a Tundra tail dragger aircraft, it's like peaches and cream or chocolate with salt. It goes together really, really well. Seems alright to me. I wonder if it's just because I'm flying the Tundra version. The bigger tyres make it a bit more controllable on the ground. I know 1940s tail dragging GA aircraft control systems weren't renowned for... Whoa, okay, I see what you mean. It does like to swing the tail, doesn't it? Okay, so as long as adjustments are nice and gentle, and we should be good. There we go. Lift the tail off the ground just for good measure when stopping. Just to remind everyone that we are in fact in a tail dragger. Now, Tootsie, it says you're in a 172, but I can't see said 172 because somebody's doing a dance on the parking apron. So MIDI says tail wheel off the ground, then take off when necessary. Of course, yeah. Once the tail wheel comes up, but you got to hold the tail. You got to hold the tail wheel down for the first little bit, especially if there's a crosswind, because otherwise you're just basically going to flip the plane. Slippery tail wheel. Have fun, not ground looping. That's exactly right. I think I'm going to do quite a slow, maybe even you could refer to it as a D-rated takeoff, which sounds extreme in a friggin' Cessna, but just so that the speed build-up isn't too insane, and then when we get close to the tail, at least then I can keep it under control, maybe a little bit better if we haven't got so much torque, potentially doing things with the aircraft and all. It's making sense in my brain, okay? Do I have any clue of what I'm talking about? Yes. Do I know how to say it? Not really. You're going to see a demonstration of it. Maybe. You're probably going to see a failure of it. But either way, you're going to see something. So, without further ado, we are clear for takeoff. Zach just said. Shut up, Shane. I'm trying my best to dance on the pedals. I wish, Glenn, I wish I had rudder pedals. I don't have rudder pedals yet. Otherwise, absolutely, I'd be bloody, what was it that Rudin asked me for? Irish line dancing on the pedals. Don't know. Anyway, I'm going to take off, alright? This is so this is the kind of aircraft that I wish I had a working track IR for. Yeah, good luck not ground looping when you've got a 10 knot crosswind, a direct 10 knot crosswind. Oh boy. I haven't ground looped it yet. I haven't ground looped it yet. We're doing all right. We haven't crashed. There we go. We haven't crashed. We've done it. We were a little wobbly, but we were never technically really out of control once I figured out how much rudder we needed against the wind. Yes, you could say it was, Glenn. You could most definitely say it was. Fun is the word we're looking for. Sure. We did make it. We didn't fall over. We didn't dip the wings into the ground. We always had at least 2 wheels on the ground, if you include the tail wheel. And we didn't ground loop it. And honestly, I feel like once the aircraft picked up the crosswind, and I picked up the general strength of the crosswind, I felt like we did alright. We weren't all over the place. And then we were basically up off the back wheel before you could think twice. Alright, so now that we're up in the air, I think it's time to pull the flaps in, get a bit more speed going, set ourselves up on the flight plan, trim the aircraft. Unfortunately, I forgot my scissors, so I'm going to have to do it manually. And then go from there. I can probably pull my put my yoke visibility back as well, can't I? Really, oh, those vibes of an old Cadillac steering wheel right now that I'm getting. So the other thing that I will need to probably do once we're a little bit more established is pull some mixture. Would this thing have like a propeller RPM, or is that just controlled via the amount of throttle I'm giving it? Right, so that is definitely not trimmed properly, Mr. Larson. You come on. Trim, trim, trim. Come on. Not quite, not quite, not quite. Come on. Let's trim. We just want a mild climb. Pull a little bit of power out. I want to be able to pull some power out without nose diving. Yep, that didn't go so well. Sorry guys, I will be back with the chat in a short moment. Alright, so we're in the green on RPMs. Zach says, brrr. Zach, stop acting so plain. Alright, that seems relatively balanced. It's got us in a small climb mode, which is not what I want. So now we were a little bit too far the other way. Okay, that's looking good. That's looking good. Pull a little more of the juice out. No, we need to trim down. Now we need to balance it the other way a little bit. This is going to be fun. Okay, that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good to me. Damn. Now the understanding of why I chose this as the aircraft to fly on this series becomes true and apparent. You could not imagine a more Australian outback scene than somebody flying an old Tundra Cessna built 50 years ago, just making the journey between bush strips. I certainly do, Cody. G'day. Mr. Zach's Gaming Lab he's working on this video with Deep Geef where he does F1 team radio messages. Ah, I see. And are you then going to use these clips, voice clips, whatever you want to refer to them as, for the purpose of your F1 videos? To like do background, make it more realistic. Is that something? What? Ooh. Right, so I need to probably face in a direction that shows us... Well, actually, we are going forward here, ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not. We are going in the correct direction. I know it looks nothing like it right now, but this is a bit of a demonstration of the crosswind that we were dealing with there on takeoff in a tail dragger. I will now take a bow for my efforts in my first time ever taking off a tail dragger in a crosswind. We are most definitely flying over Australia. Zach, what was the giveaway? The fact that there's nothing out here, or that it was red? Or both? Probably both. But yes, absolutely, we are most definitely, we are flying from the easternmost point, so which is just above Byron Bay, to the westernmost point, which is just past Learmonth or Exmouth in WA. So straight across the middle. Although right now we're not actually heading directly across the middle. We are heading across, but sort of in a bit more of a diagonal motion, just so we can check out some of the airports in this part of the world that actually used to receive a passenger service pre-COVID times. So our Dirren Bandy did not, where we took off from, that has not received a passenger service pre-COVID. However, Lightning Ridge, Walgett, Burke did. There was also an airport on there which is in the general vicinity, a little bit closer back to Sydney, called Cobar, and there was an airline called Airlink that used to fly Sydney, Dubbo, and then, or Sydney somewhere, Dubbo, I think it was Sydney, Newcastle, Dubbo, these four airports, and then do it back. And that was their, that was considered one of Australia's regional mail runs. Not a milk run, a mail run, which is different because you're not carrying cartons of milk, you're carrying envelopes. Times like this that you sort of do, like you're sort of sitting on the fence. You do wish you had autopilot so that you could have the autopilot just stick the rudder slightly into the wind so you could fly a little bit more straight onto the destination. But you also wish that you didn't have autopilot because sometimes it's, in fact a lot of the time, it's really nice to fly without it. Especially doing GA, especially doing bush trips. Where are the kangaroos at? Zach, nobody's done an Australian wildlife pack yet for the sim. If you know how to code and develop games, there's an opportunity for you. Can a kangaroo do a front flip? I'm not sure. I've never personally seen a kangaroo do a front flip, but that doesn't mean that it can't. Your curiosity is going to kill you. My good friend Google, knowing quite personally, use him. He will provide all the answers that you could possibly be looking for, Zach. I'm sure the Google employees will have a bit of a chuckle at your search criteria though. Can kangaroos do a front flip? And then you can report back to the rest of the chat. on whether or not the Australian national animal can in fact complete a front flip. So as you can see now, in this part of Australia, it's you'll be back, not a problem, Zach, all good, mate. It is remote, and not the type that you change your television channels with. You got, you know, the occasional farmhouse, ranch, station, whatever you want to refer to it as, but other than that, you've just got this browny red, green, blue, orange, yellow. Yeah, that doesn't even surprise me at all, Glenn. I remember my father telling me that he once flew East-West Airlines from Melbourne to Sydney on a Fokker F-28, 27 should I say. And I looked at him and I was like, East-West didn't fly from Melbourne to Sydney. And he's like, this is where you're wrong. He flew Melbourne to Albury, Albury to Canberra, and then Canberra to somewhere along the New South Wales coast, and then from there into Sydney. And I was just like, right, well, I know where I get the interest in flying and aviation from then, don't I? Because that's the kind of thing I'd do. Be like, no, I don't want to fly to Sydney direct. What stops can I make along the way? They can't do front flips, Zach? There we go. Everybody's learnt something in the chat this evening. Kangaroos cannot do a front flip. Probably because they'd whip themselves with their tail or something. Unless they have a trampoline. If anybody's got a spare trampoline that the kangaroos of the Australian outback can borrow to perform Zach's circus tricks, that would be great. The thing that makes me laugh the most about that, Glenn, is the fact that some of those flights that they scheduled at 4 a.m. were, like, the airport wasn't even open to people at that time of the morning. So they were doing everything in their power to make it, inconvenient for the people who lived there. That's why I guess so many people got so happy when Rex, which of course formed from Hazleton and Kendall, basically merging together. And there was a period of time, I think, that Rex actually did take over this, the Cobar, Dubbo, Sydney, Canberra flight thingamajiggy, because the New South Wales government contracted them for some reason. I can't remember why. There was a small time period where Airlink was not able to do it, or they weren't able to operate, or they couldn't achieve a CASA certificate, or I can't remember exactly. And of course it was weird because everybody was used to having 15, 16-seater Jetstream 31s flying, and then all of a sudden they had 32-seat Saab 340s flying the flights, and they weren't exactly profitable in a 32-seat Saab. They were barely profitable in a bloody 18-seat or 16-seat Jetstream 31. Bit like Queensland government, they pay a company called Skytrans to do Cape York. None of the flights are profitable, as far as I know, because Skytrans has now been owned by about 6 people in the last 30 years since it started, and each time it's changed owners because it's run out of money. So the Queensland government has to fund Skytrans to perform the essential passenger services in the Cape York Peninsula. I guarantee you the pilots love their job though. Could you imagine flying... So Skytrans flies Dash 8s, Dash 8 100s. Sorry, I'm just having problems with my shoes down here. Could you imagine, from a pilot's perspective, getting to fly Dash 8 100s into some of the most remote regional towns in the Cape York Peninsula, the most northern part of Australia, you would love your job, because you start every day. You start every day in Townsville or Cairns, which of course, a massive, well, compared to the regional towns anyway, are proper cities. You fly to your various rostered routes, you come back, you're back home in the evening. I reckon it'd be absolutely great. And this is the kind of scenery that you get to enjoy. Yeah, absolutely, Glenn. Especially these days with so many charter airlines, and the fact that a lot of scheduled service carriers own a percentage of charter companies, and therefore they can organise something on your behalf as well. Perfect example, Qantas owns Alliance Airlines. Alliance Airlines started as a charter company for mining fly in, fly out. So 100%, yeah.
All my thoughts are running round inside my head. Emotions keep coming. They keeping me from thinking straight. Thought it would be different when I got my things in place. Started to miss emotion.
I mean, it does depend, Glenn, how regional we're talking as well, though. That's, somewhere like where we are right now, absolutely, hire a charter plane, without a doubt, There's probably only going to be, as you said, between, 4 to 8 of you in the absolute extreme maximum circumstances. But if you're talking like a regional town, like, what's a good example? The Parks in New South Wales. Absolutely, you need a proper scheduled airline service. It's, it's got tourist attractions, it's got everything. Well, no, it's got everything. That's a bit of a stretch. It doesn't have everything. But yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, the cost of hiring like a... what's a good example? A Piper, like a Seminole or something like that, is probably about $600 for an hour, plus a pilot would probably be about $200-ish an hour, so that's $800, and then you've got 4 people, so that's $200 each. Yeah, exactly. It very quickly is like, that's cheaper than a ticket on Rex and then a bus to my destination. Okay. Wow, really? That much, Glenn? Okay. And Armidale's not exactly what you'd call in the middle of nowhere in the scheme of Australian regional locations. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty expensive. Is there no competition at all or something, Glenn? I can fly a return to Thailand for cheaper than that. Midi37 says, favourite movie, go. Ooh, Midi. Probably Flying High. And I'm not saying that just because we're simming. Like, genuinely, probably is Flying High. Midi says, I got someone who's got a PA-44... who's a PA-44 pilot for a Seminole. That's cool. Are they based out of Moorabbin, Midi, or somewhere else? Hey, Lena is here. She says, hey again. What is your favourite aircraft to fly on as a real-life passenger and why? Probably my favourite aircraft, that commercial aircraft, and that would be the A350. However, I will go slightly further and say, from a passenger's perspective, and this is only from the perspective of being a passenger, any of the new school aircraft with the new engines, A350, 787, A380, 748, 737 Maxes, A220s, the new Embraers, A320 Neos, etc., because it is an extremely wonderful experience on board from a passenger's perspective of somebody who's actually just travelling. Obviously, for somebody like me, I would go out of my way to find a 717 and stuff like that. But yeah, from an enjoyment, from a passenger's perspective, any of the new school aircraft, because they're nice and quiet, they've got great pressurization systems, so you don't get super dry eyes or dry mouth, or and you feel less tired when you arrive at your destination. And so yeah, but if I had to pick one, it would have to be the A350, because it is just the all-round package of looks, performance, and passenger comfort, in my personal opinion. Dark Blue World is the best movie ever. Haven't even seen it, Glenn. In fact, I haven't even heard of it. Is that a bad thing? It probably is a bad thing. Mitty, you should tee him up to I don't know, take you flying somewhere. He'll probably, you know, if I was him though, I probably would just be like, yeah, but you got to pay for fuel, because I know for a fact that aviation fuel is not the cheapest commodity currently available. Jeez, the weather's a little bit. It's not conducive to flying bush planes, that's for sure, right now. Oh yeah, you can too, Mitty, I forgot about that. But don't you have to stay within a certain airspace because you're doing recreational pilots? I mean, I know that means you can still fly somewhere, because I'm pretty sure it means you just have to stay in the Moorabbin airspace or the Melbourne airspace. It doesn't mean you can't go flying still, though, does it, really? When you think about it. Plenty of locations in the Moorabbin airspace, let alone the Melbourne airspace. So coming into Lightning Ridge here, we're going to have the same... oh, no, actually, it looks like Lightning Ridge has 2 runways. Let me just inspect this for a sec. It does have 2 runways. It's got a 2,800 foot dirt runway, which I wouldn't usually go and use, but with the way that the wind is going, runway 04 is technically the active. You know, if runway 04 is active, I'd like to potentially become its gym partner. Okay, I will do, Glenn. Sounds quite interesting, must say. I don't know why I said interesting like I was Italian or Spanish or whatever, but I did, so let's just go with it. I'd love to be able to do something like this in real life. Love to have the financial backing to be able to get an old Cessna and keep it maintained and fueled up and just journey across the country. But it would be bloody expensive. Very, very expensive. We're talking probably close to 50k in fuel and maintenance costs alone just to complete a big journey crossing around most of Australia, let alone the cost of buying it in the first place. Not to mention the cost of getting your pilot's license and getting enough certifications to be able to fly in IFR conditions and, very quickly you've spent $250,000 and it's like, So I guess I'll have to settle for the sim at this point. Damn. Jeez, I thought the 170 was slow, Glenn, but I see what you mean now. The 140 really is slow, isn't it? I mean, again, that's most definitely not an issue. That is definitely not an issue. Sometimes the best way to fly is slow. In fact, a lot of the times it is if you want to enjoy the actual flying side of things. There was a C-140 for sale in Victoria a year or so back for around 50 grand. That's not a bad price, eh? I guess from my perspective, Glenn, if it was going to be an aircraft that was mine to own and maintain and run, and I was on a budget, I don't think a C-140 would be my first choice, just because the risk is probably a little bit higher of something really, really expensive going wrong, just because of the significant age. If I had money to throw and play with, yeah, sure, absolutely, 100%, 50 grand on a C-140, whatever. But if I was, in a position where I had 100 grand and I had to buy an aircraft and it was the aircraft to last me the next 20 plus years, probably would be looking at more like a 152 or something like that. Just a little more modern, a little bit easier to get parts for and stuff. Really? I guess it makes sense because it's a slow plane, which is good for people who are on who have qualified for the recreational side of licensing. It makes CASA feel safe, and yeah, I guess that's all that really matters. Glitch 2.0 says eating a burger with no honey mustard. Glitch, what are you doing, bro? No honey mustard? Oh, I don't quite know how to receive this news. It's no, only kidding. Mate, g'day anyway, welcome to the stream. I hope you are enjoying your burger without your honey mustard. I'm sure it's still very delicious. Alright, so I reckon it's probably time to start descending into Lightning Ridge, and hopefully not get shocked in the process. So as you can see right now with the marker that is down below us, you have the bustling metropolis of Lightning Ridge that we're coming into. All the people that are down here. There's no doubt that places like this in Australia are very much visited by tourists, but usually they're used as bases to start journeys into the outback, the even more remote parts of the outback. So you'll find that Lightning Ridge has actually got about 3 or 4 like tourist attractions. They've got some baths, they've got a lookout, they've got an old building, stuff like that. The other thing that this part of the world used to be used for, I don't know if it's used for anymore, was mining. Lots and lots of mining. Opal mining, as Glenn just put in the chat. However, the fact that the flights no longer operate here tells me that the mining has probably slowed down a little. But I can guarantee you that the fact that this place has got 3 or 4 tourist attractions as well in the town probably says that back in the day when mining was a thing, they would have started journeys from out here. Come out, hire a car, get going into the outback. I know because I've done it. Not here, but in Queensland. You just fly into the middle of nowhere, the last major airport where you can get a passenger service into, then you hire your car and you go into the Bungle Bungles or Adele's Grove or places like that that are just literally in the middle of nowhere. But then you also have, you've got Mutabun, you've got Rexine, you've got Wyoming, you've got Buranba, you've got Tipperary, you've got Ringwood. These are the names of all the opal mines that are surrounding Lightning Ridge. The Lightning Ridge population is rather unusual, more akin to Nimbin. It's probably they've been affected by the dust and all that's been created by the mining of the opals, Glenn, I think. Very independent, alternative people gravitate to Lightning Ridge. So what you're trying to say, Glenn, is it's basically the hippie part of the New South Wales outback? Which I guess is not weird because I'm pretty sure Queensland's also got a relatively hippie part of the outback, as does WA. And I think even SA does as well. So Victoria can't really, because Victoria doesn't really have the outback except for up near Mildura. More feral than hippie, but definitely alternative. Okay, fair enough. Making sure that I am still heading in the correct direction to utilize the runway. SR Stacy says, have you ever heard of Cliff Tate? I have not heard of Cliff Tate. Should I have? Is he special? Something awesome about him that I need to know? Alright, so we've almost got a headwind now for runway 10. The wind has moved in our journey. So what we're going to do, we're going to abandon the plans for runway 4 and we're going to now go for runway 10. Which is, I think, where Tutti is heading as well. Be interesting to see how I go landing a tail dragger with what is going to be a almost 20 knot headwind. So double what we had at during Bandy, which is good. Nice and nice way to test himself. Still haven't heard as to why I should or shouldn't have heard of Cliff Tate yet. Alright, we are very, very high up here. So we are going to slow this puppy right down, right down. In 1969, Cliff Tate flew a single-engine air tourer from New Zealand around the world with only an ADF, 2 compasses and no autopilot. That's pretty impressive. That is pretty impressive. Makes you realise how good pilots today have it with all their GPSs and backup this and backup that. God, we are on the verge of stalling here, but it's working wonders for us losing enough altitude for the runway. I'm going to research a little bit more into that SR Stacy, because that actually sounds quite interesting. I am literally fighting this thing right now to stop it from stalling the wing. Oh, okay, extra fuel tank. Yeah, right, that makes more sense. I was going to say, wouldn't he have run into issues in the Pacific Islands? But no, if he's got 12-hour endurance, he would have been all good. Yes, I know I'm stalling, Cessna. This is a deliberate stall on my behalf. Whoa! Oh, I got so close! I'd held it on the stall horn for so long and hadn't let the wing stall, and then at the critical last second... yeah. Here I was thinking, I'm like, I have F-all experience in flying tail draggers, and I am absolutely nailing this right now. I've managed to get it off the ground without flipping it over. I managed to sit it right on the stall horn all the way down to the runway. And then... oh well, it's all part of the fun. Well, look, nothing happened. What are you all worried about? Nothing to see. Nothing to see at all. I mean, I'm going to have to turn around to take off, obviously. But it's just, you know, there was a slight glitch within the sim. Nothing happened. Yeah. Sure. Alright, well, I guess I better turn around then, eh?
Disaster!
The Oh No meme song plays. Do you know it? Says Lena. Maybe, but not by name. I do not know it by name, no. But I you know, it wouldn't surprise me if I do actually know it. Twitty says, I use margarine, not butter. That's what happens? Yeah, exactly right. No, I got too confident. As I got really close to the ground, I was getting too confident because I was sitting almost 20 knots under stall speed and still flying quite okay. So I was like, all right, let's flare for landing, and pulling back slightly to flare and get out of the nosedive is what caused this wing to dip. Oh well. Alright, well now I guess I need to get it off the ground, which I wonder if I can at least do a better job of getting it off the ground than I did getting it on the ground. Yeah, I'll take that. Bloody hell. I'm pretty happy with that. I've definitely done worse. I just did worse on arrival. Yes, I need to go right out of here. So our next stop is going to be the small town of Walgett, or Walgett, or Welgett. It's one of those. I'm an Australian, I don't even know how to say it, so yeah. Try and balance ourselves here for the journey now. Oh, it's bloody rough out here. Very rough. So rough that you could almost refer to the weather as a dog. Get it? But hang on. Well, we're a little bit nose up there, I must say. It reminds with Holgett. No, that would be rhymes with Holgett. So Walgett. Yeah, cool. Okay, glad somebody knows what's going on. Spectacular part of the world. I know I'm going to be biased because I'm Australian, but it really is a spectacular part of the world, the Australian outback. You could just spend all day looking at the various colours, and they change so quickly, and they're going to change. Don't know if they'll change on this flight, but I know for a fact the next flight they're going to get a much deeper, darker red. Spectacular, nothing on the horizon. Well, there is something on the horizon. The horizon's on the horizon. I know, I'm just being a technical dick. weather is, I must say, the weather's bloody spectacular for flying as well out in this part of the world. Not a cloud in the sky. A little bit windy, a lot bit windy actually. But it seems nice and sunny. I should actually probably check what the aircraft is saying the temperature is outside. Let's have a look at our temperature gauge. It is about 20 degrees Celsius at 3,000 feet. So there we go. Not bad. Another little station or homestead or whatever you want to refer to it as down there, but then not much until we get to Walgett. Yeah, dust storms, droughts, floods, all of those things you get in this part of the world. It's either what you currently see or bucketing down with rain and it looks like an ocean, or you can't see anything because it's covered in dust. Geez. At first glance, I just had a quick look over a little nav map, and at first glance, there's a place actually over to the right-hand side there. You can see it, the slightly darker part of land there, just over in the distance on the right-hand side of the aircraft. That is called the Grauen Opal Fields, but at first glance, I thought that was the Garwin Opal Fields. And I was going to be like, holy shit. Garwin's got his own opal field in the middle of Australia. This 170 is slow. I'll just say it again. So I can't imagine how slow that 140 is, Glenn. What are we? We're getting about 90 knots cruise speed in the 170. So you're probably getting what, like 80, 70, something like that. Another thing I need to figure out in this aircraft is where 100 miles per hour, whatever that is, knots, I don't know, but the 170 does 120 miles an hour, so I think. Is that miles per hour or knots? I think that might actually be reading miles per hour. That Mitty's going to be AFK for about half an hour. Not a problem, Mitty. All good, mate. I need to find the fuel gauge in this thing so that I can figure out when I'm going to run out. Got vacuum, oil pressure, RPM, amps, oil temp, vertical speed, altitude, the time, my left and right, my cylinder temperature, my airspeed, my attitude indicator, compass, okay. What looks to be a heading select thingo, which is confusing because this thing doesn't have autopilot. Although it's probably got something basic that allows it to hold a particular heading. Probably through the use of the transponder in some way, shape or form. Very likely. I'm sure there's something down here that enables you to get it to hold its heading or something. Where is the fuel gauge? Ah, there. Okay, cool. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Cool. All good then. 1 mile an hour equals... Oh, so they're basically identical then. Like, not quite, but like it's not a serious discrepancy between miles per hour and knots. Therefore, 120 miles an hour is 115 knots probably. Don't know why it says that this plane cruises at 120 miles an hour then, because I'm right. Currently, I am in the proper RPM range and everything for this aircraft, and we cannot exceed about 95 knots cruise speed. Glenn says, note, the red is unusable. Hit the red, your engine will stop. Okay, cool, good to know. So don't hit the red. Damn, I like to hit the red button though, usually. Hey, William Kelly is here. He says hi. Hi, William. How you going, mate? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're going really awesome. We're just doing a little bit of flying, in case you hadn't figured that out already. Probably have. Be concerned if you hadn't. Yes, thank you, Shane Einstein. Both are different measurements. Yes, absolutely they are. Absolutely they are. However, there's not, a significant difference between them, is what I'm trying to say. Like, you could sort of just take an estimate. Does that make more sense? Probably not. Yeah, because indicated airspeed changes with height compared to miles per hour across the ground. Fair enough. You use something more edgy than high next time? I mean, you don't have to, William. It's all good. Nobody's going to hold a gun to your head and force you to do it. I'm just used to a little bit more of a, intense? No, that's not the word I'm looking for. That's more of a... I don't know what the hand movements are meant to do, but we're looking for a bit more of an intense... Hey, KC Plane Spotting says, g'day mate, sorry I'm late. G'day KC Plane Spotting mate, welcome to the stream. Hope you're going bloody awesome. Yes, thank you Shane. You know what I'm trying to say. As you said just below, you're just playing, you're just stirring the pot, being a little shit. Basically what I come into your streams and do. So it's fair game, I get it. It's I brought it on myself. Glitch. Glitch 2.0 says you should try meth. I'm good, thank you. I mean I appreciate the offer, Glitch 2.0, but I'm gonna pass on this one. I think that's the first time I've ever had that offered in one of my streams. Possibly, Lizard Man, although I was just going off my ground speed that is being displayed in the little Fly Live Studio thing at the top of the stream. So... you might be right though. I do not live in Colac. Shane, if I lived in Colac, I probably... well, I wouldn't live there anymore, that's for sure. I'm sure it's a nice place these days. A lot of those older, crappy towns on the borders of major regional suburbs are a lot better these days, so... I don't know. Obviously, Shane knows something about Colac. I'm going to pass on that one as well, Glitch 2.0. I'm currently doing 110 miles per hour ground speed. Right, okay. That makes sense then, doesn't it? Shane says, isn't it the meth capital of Victoria? Not anymore, Shane, I don't believe. Where the meth capital is of Victoria, you'll have to ask somebody who knows more about meth than I do. I just do not believe it's Colac anymore. Glitch 2.0, yeah, none of the hard stuff. I'm not gonna, especially on stream. Turns out YouTube frowns upon live drug usage. Who would have thought? Hey, Mr. Gummy Wombat is here. G'day, Gummy. How you going, mate? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing awesome. Yes, Mitty, Glitch 2.0 basically said in the chat that I should try meth. And I was just like, hey, even if you're offering to give it to me, I'll pass. Yeah, absolutely, Tootie. Paracetamol, you got to, you know, helps to get rid of the pain, you know? Literally. Oh, I barely even do that, Lizard Man. I'm not a big fan of Coca-Cola, right? If I wanted to drink carbonated sugar, I could get some water, put some icing sugar in there and stick it in a soda stream kind of thing. You're gonna get a similar flavor profile. Glenn says, you do wonder how someone and the sniffers get... I have no idea what you're on about, Glenn, but if you're telling me that there's people who live stream drug usage on YouTube, I mean, I'm not really surprised. If it pays them a, you know, income of some sort, or gives them recognition of some sort, they're probably going to stream it. Why do you think I do flight sim? No, I'm only kidding. I do it just because it's great to hang out with a bunch of people with a similar interests and who want to also fly along. It's a Melbourne punk band. Okay, that makes so much more sense. I was, you know, even though I'm saying, oh, it wouldn't surprise me, I'm thinking in my head going, Jesus, what the... Minnie says, now I had the headset on while I was getting ready for something, and unfortunately I was screaming for you to look up to find the fuel before. You were in a high-winged aircraft, which would usually be up top. Yeah, it's been a quick minute since I was flying a high-winged aircraft. Mitty, I'll be honest with you. I mean, that's not really an excuse, but it's the excuse I'm going to go for. It's the excuse I'm going to use. And... because you're not here to complain about it, it holds water. Yeah, absolutely, Glitch 2.0, you most certainly are. They're going to be like, who is this guy trying to sell flight sim streamers meth and coke on YouTube? Oh, Tootie B is reading up about Colac on Wikipedia. There you go, Shane. You've created the most interest that Colac's ever had from an overseas party since the birth of Australia through Federation. Lots and lots and lots of opal mines around here. You've got Briagalo, Gingy Station, Clift Farm, Kiki, Do You Love Me? Are You Riding? Carlu, Spilbury, Namoy Village. You got Wimbledon Mine. So that's you know, I don't know, something to do with tennis. I'll get back to you on that with some sort of tennis punk. Winuka, Yamamba, Coolabong. Which is what the people in Lightning Ridge like to do, according to Glenn, is put some ice in their bong, so cooler bong. College Green, Sunny Plains, Kill, Bloody hell, it's like there's an opal mine epidemic out here at the moment. And it's the same on the bloody other side of Walgett as well. One of the mines is called Footscray. Footiscray. You know? Franco Cozzo from Footiscray. Tutti says, with so many millennials now vlogging, I wonder what YouTube will look like in 30 years. Lots of 60-year-olds with 30 years of content. Possibly. If they, especially if they're vloggers and YouTubers and streamers and all that who do well for themselves and turn it into a career, there's every possibility that yes, that will in fact be YouTube in 30 years' time. When we're watching it on our 32K monitors with our 128 core CPUs and 1 terabyte of RAM. I'm going to need to really slow down to get down here at Walgett. I've spent too much time talking shit and not enough time actually flying. Where's the music gone? Does anyone else not hear the music anymore, or am I just... One of your servers at work has 58 cores and 1.5 terabytes of RAM. It's a little bit different though, Glenn, because it's a server. I'm talking your personal computer in 30 years' time is probably going to have 100 and something core CPUs with terabytes of RAM and solid state drives that hold like a few petabytes and yeah, just crazy, crazy stuff. Probably have quantum computing and holographic stuff and all that by then anyway. Oh, just a casual 45 grand PC, hey Glenn. That's nothing. It'd make a great flight sim rig. Great flight sim rig. Glitch 2.0 says, what did the Minions do between 1933 and 1945? I'm not sure, Glitch. What did the Minions do between 33 and 45? Waiting patiently for the response. That's why I haven't said anything. I really like to come in hot and high in this 170. That's one takeaway that I can definitely work on in future streams here on the East to West Australia journey. Is don't come in too high off too fast. I'm also coming in with an almost 20 knot tailwind, so that's good. might actually be worthwhile me coming in from the correct direction. You know, you can call me Louis Tomlinson because I'm going to be coming in from one direction. Sorry, that was absolutely terrible. And everybody gets, I guess with me going around to the other side of the runway here, everybody gets a really in-depth look at the huge town of Walgett down here. As you can see, it's absolutely massive. Got everything you could possibly want. It's got an airport. It's got a couple of parks that I can see. It's got some houses. It's got some roads. What else do you want? Food? Take it or leave it kind of thing. Yeah, exactly. It's got a pub, it's probably got a servo, it's probably got a bottle shop, it's probably got some sort of supermarket, IGA, Coles, Woolworths, one of those. What else do you need? You know? You've got a place to drink and catch up with mates, you've got a place to get your food from. Glitch says, I've been banned from about 50 to 60 channel live stream chats. So Glitch, I can understand why. I can understand why you would have been banned from very much. At the same time, I find some of your comments funny. And I know that you're not trying to be malicious or troll or be complete idiot because you're not dropping the comment every 2 seconds. So as far as I'm concerned, you're okay at the moment. Just obviously don't be too much of a idiot, if that makes sense. Be a controlled idiot. And that's probably a way of putting it. Be a controlled idiot. That's what I tell people I am. I'm like, I'm a controlled idiot. I do stupid shit, but I can understand when and when not to do it. Now, I've got to make this landing better than the last one that I attempted because, yeah. No worries, Glitch 2.0, mate. Catch you later. Have a good one. Don't get yourself banned from too many more channels. Whoop. Very hard not to bounce when you're on Tundra tyres landing on tarmac runways. Whoop. Little all over the shot, but we're good. Alright, so we're going to stop here on the runway because that's where we're going to want to continue on from. Just got to try and stop without sticking the nose into the runway. There we go. Much happier with that arrival than I was the previous one for, you know, obvious reasons. Alright, so we've got a little bit of a distance to go. And I didn't plan for that little bit of a distance that we still have left to go. Because Microsoft Flight Simulator told me in the 170B that it would take exactly 1 hour and 15 minutes to complete this journey. And right now we've been streaming for 1 hour and 40 minutes and we are only halfway. So, that does potentially create an issue. We have another hour of flying, but I have 20 minutes before I have to finish the stream. So, I'm going to put a potential suggestion, thought towards the chat, and you guys let me know what you think. We've got two options. A, stream ends here at Walgett. Next leg starts at Walgett instead of at Burke. And we go from there. Second option is, I take off here from Walgett. Hang on, where's the little map? And we journey a little bit down the road to a place called Mirralwyn Airport, which is about 35-40 nautical miles from where we are right now. And we land there, and I finish the stream. I know it's not necessarily something that concerns you guys as such, like personally, but I would like your opinion on the matter, if that makes sense, of what you would like to see. Walgett has a pub? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Probably a decent pub as well, because it is a mining town, or an old mining town. So Glenn has definitely thrown his vote in, and here's his Walgett, because it has a pub, and we can go get a good feed. I might actually, one thing I will probably have to do is, now that I've got the proper aircraft again for this series, I should probably just go and double check all my flight plans to make sure that they're not like in this situation where an hour and 15-minute flight is actually a 2-hour and a bit flight. Tutti doesn't mind. Middy's away, so he's not going to be able to answer. True, actually, Glenn, it is. It is. That's very true. Alright. Well, Middy can't answer. Glenn has definitely made his answer because it has a pub. Tutti doesn't mind. I'm going to vote Walgett as well because it's got a pub. And also because now I realise I do need to cut up a few of my East to West Australia flight plans into some slightly smaller flights, because quite clearly the 170 is not at the same speed as an X-Cub was, because I just assumed that we were going to finish the rest of that series in an X-Cub. That was me forgetting about the fact that Coronado had released a 170B backcountry on Tundra tyres. So I'm going to taxi us into the terminal here. Probably not much of a terminal at Walgett, I'll be honest. And we will do our next Australia East to West series journey from here in Walgett. Because Burke is actually about 100 and something nautical miles away, it is almost the perfect distance for one of these Australia East to West streams. So the next Australia East to West stream will probably be Walgett to Burke. Flight Simmer says, can you fly to London and complete a barrel roll tonight? Hashtag love roadblocks? You like roadblocks, do you, Shane? I think you're the only person I've ever met who likes roadworks. Shane, I cannot do that, but one thing I can do for you, my good sir, and I will do it as soon as I park this out of control thing. I'm talking about me, the out of control thing. As soon as we park here at the terminal, I will do exactly what I was going to do for you. Where is it? There. Yeah. There you go, Shane. Alright, well, ladies and gentlemen, that didn't quite go the way I expected it to when because I just looked over at little nav map when I was landing then, and it said, 32 nautical miles. So I was like, great, 32 nautical miles to Berg, all good. And then I zoomed out and it says 113 nautical miles. Right. Which is a longer distance than what we've covered so far in this stream, to give you an idea of how much further there was to go. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank each and every single one of you for coming along this evening. I do appreciate it. Sorry, it didn't quite go to plan in terms of destination, but don't worry, we're still going to go on that flight. Don't know why I'm telling you not to worry. I'm sure you're not really worried. But yeah, guys in the chat, cheers for being there. Guys who flew along, Tutti and Glenn. And I could have sworn there was probably somebody else at some point, but that just might be in my imagination. Thank you very much for flying along. Ladies and gentlemen, if you did jump in the stream and you haven't clicked on like or subscribe yet, why are you sleeping on this, boys? Why are you sleeping on this? And ladies. No, but all jokes aside, if you haven't already, it would be greatly appreciated if you did hit those buttons. It obviously does help the channel in many ways, shapes, and forms. But ladies and gentlemen, until next time, which is tomorrow at some time, we're going to be delving into Food Truck Simulator. So if you want to see a chef try and play Food Truck Simulator, you know where to be. Ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are in the world, make sure that you look after yourselves. Stay safe, stay well. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. And I'll catch you wonderful people in the next stream. Cheers.